This lecture reviews Chapter 3 of Microsoft Word in the book Microsoft Office 2010 Introductory Shelley Cashman series. In here we'll be creating a business letter with a letterhead and table. Oftentimes before you start working on a document, you may want to decide on the look of that document. Now that's what we're going to do in here. We're going to change the style and we're going to change the colors for that particular style. So in the Home tab, go to Change Styles, click it, click Colors, and then point to Executive and select Executive. Now you'll notice, let me put it back. You'll notice that there's a group of colors in here. All those colors are basically set to work together. So let me select it. The book is asking us to work with 110% zoom, so I'm going to do that. And also I'm going to turn on the show hide so that we get to see where the new paragraphs are located and any tabs, etc. The default margins on a 2010 Word document is 1 inch at the top, 1 inch at the bottom, 1 inch on the left, and 1 inch on the right. What we're going to do right now is to change those margins so that we have a smaller margin on the left and the right. What you're going to do is go to Page Layout, then select Margins from the Page Setup group, and then you're going to pick Moderate, which gives you 1 inch at the top, 1 inch at the bottom, 0.75 on the left and 0.75 on the right. Now when we do this, we're going to be able to fit more text into a single page. The smaller the margins, the more text that you can fit on inside your page. When you create a business letter, oftentimes you want to have that business letter to have a letterhead. Now in Microsoft Word, you can create the letterhead, save that document, and then each time that you need to write a letter, you call back the letterhead and then you type the letter. That way your letter always has the letterhead. So what we're going to do is to first create a letterhead. The first thing that we're going to do in this letterhead is to insert a shape. So to do that, we're going to go to the Insert tab in the ribbon. Then we're going to go to Shapes. And then we're going to look at the rectangles. And we're going to look for the one that says Rounded Rectangle. Now I'm going to click on it. When I do, my mouse pointer changes to a crosshair. I'm going to position my mouse pointer right on top of the place where the cursor is, and I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to draw a rectangle that goes all the way to the right margin, and then I'm going to let go. Now the book says to try to keep the size of the rectangle as close to 0.5 and 7 inches. Now this is slightly less and this is slightly more. I could just go here and type in 0.5 and in here 7.0. When I do that, okay, and I click over here, now I have the exact size that they're asking me to use. Notice that when you work with this object right here, and I know this is an object because I see these handles, around this shape, I get an additional tab in my ribbon. Again, this is called a contextual tab. Now every time they work with an object, you get a contextual tab associated with that object. One thing that we're going to do in many different places is that when we pick an object, most likely we're going to change the style associated with that object. Now while the shape is still selected, I would like you to look at the word art shapes. I'm sorry, not the word art, but the shape styles. And I'm going to click at the more button here. Now I get to see all the different colors that I could use for this particular shape. I would like you to point at the one called Intense Effect Brown Accent 4. It should be on the last row, the third from the right to the left. Click on it and notice that now my background changed on this particular shape. Next, I would like to add some text into this shape. So to do that, I'm going to point anywhere inside this rectangle. I'm going to do a right click, and one of my options in here is to add text. So I'm going to click add text, and I'm going to type Heartland Tractor Club in capital letters. The next thing that I'm going to do is to change the size of that text. Now first I need to select the text. Now if you remember, if you point inside a paragraph, which this is a paragraph right now, and you triple click, you select the whole paragraph. So I'm going to go once, twice, 3 times, and now I have the text selected. If I click the Home tab, I have in the Home tab fonts group these 2 symbols in here. This allows me to grow the font. This allows me to decrease, to shrink the font. Now this does it by specific sizes. So it's the same sizes that you often see when you click over here. Okay. So if I look in here and I click the grow, right now it's 11. Next is going to be 12. I'm going to click again. 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22. That's what I need. The next thing that we're going to do is to change the font. Now, since this is still selected, I'm going to click Add Font, and I would like to pick one called Sigio Script. Now, I could type in the letter S in here, and right away I see the list starting at S. Then I can scroll down the list from this point on. Now I see Sigio Script in here, and I click on it. Now click anywhere within the text to deselect. The next thing that we're going to do is to select the shape. So I'm going to point anywhere to the edge of this shape. So now I know that it's that shape that I'm working with. And then on the drawing tools, I'm going to click Format, and in the wrap text, okay, in the arrange group, I'm going to select top and bottom. The reason why we just did that is that we don't want the text that we're going to type next to appear behind this object. We want the text to be around the object, so in this case under the object.